So how you doing? So today I want to talk about EBT cards and the cutoff and all that shit. So a lot of you should be pissed. I don't need EBT at this moment, but when I had it, okay, I made $97 a month on it. It's a good amount, but with the way grocery prices, all that shit, and now you can't buy certain things for certain things. When you're homeless, that should override everything. Okay, if you're not, then that's not right. It's you should be able to get like hot food meals when you're homeless. Like in Arizona, you could do that. California always did that. They were just stupid. They allowed any company to sell you like a $15 meal deal, bullshit on your card, and that shouldn't be right. If you're homeless, yes. But if you have a home, especially if you're pulling, you got 7 kids and you're bringing in like $3,600 in food stamps. What the hell? It just doesn't make sense. So let's go to this. If you have to work, there's a cutoff age. So if you're able-bodied, up to age 65, which used to be 55, which was nice because I was 56. And I had a hip problem, and I still do. But now I have to suck through it and try to find something if I need it. If not, you only get 3 months in a lifetime. That in itself is absurd. Just absurd. Absurd. And shouldn't be allowed. So it should be 3 months a year, maybe, or every couple of years, or 3 months and 3 years. I can kind of see that one. If you fall down and you need a little bit of help, yeah, they'll help you out, but it needs to coincide with the price of groceries. So if groceries are twice as much, then it needs to be $600 per person. You know what I'm saying? But when somebody has like 4 or 5 kids and they're pumping out almost $3,500 to $4,000 in food allowance, that ain't right. You could feed people. I could feed a shitload of people on $600 a month. I don't care who you are. If you can't feed a family on $600 a month, you're doing something wrong. You're wasting the money, because you could prep meals, spaghetti meals with meatballs. You could do there's hamburger helpers. You could get chubs of turkey for like $2 a pop. If you know where to go, I do. There's always ways to make the money last and work. So y'all got to fix your shit. So now let's move on to the 20 hours a week. Okay. It's basically 80 hours a month. Okay. Now, if we do the minimum wage of Tennessee is $7.25, right? Which is absolutely ridiculous for these day and age. It should be 3 times that. You're looking at $580. So with my money, I'm only making $2.75 an hour in labor. Isn't that slave labor? I shouldn't have to donate slave labor just to get food stamps. See, that's not right in itself, and that needs to be fixed. If I donate 20 hours, then I should get it in minimum wage in my food stamps. See what I'm saying? That would be fair. That's the fair thing to do, and it's a right thing to do. You guys need to fix that, because I know people that just have shit goes wrong in their lives, and worse than mine. I thought my life was shit. Oh my God, how so much shit goes wrong in my life, and I haven't done anything to anybody. And it just does. And that's the crazy thing about it. But it happens, and we move forward. We wait for the next bad thing to happen. And it just does that. But it needs to be even, for people that, hey, if you work 20 hours a week, you're going to get that back at minimum wage on your food card. You go in, you donate some hours, you slide your card, and then it pays you on the card. Now you got some food stamps. Even if it was daily, that would be awesome. Come over here, donate some hours, separating clothes, shit like that, doing something. Donating your time to soup kitchen, making some soup, beans, whatever. And then, you slide your card. It's just like a time card. And then when you leave, you slide it, and it pays you for that day on your card the next day. So if you worked 5 hours, you get 5 times, so you get the $35, $36, $37 basically on your card for food. You know what I'm saying? Or just keep working and saving it up. It gives you an option, because if you actually pay this, it would be $580 a month, for the 80 hours. You're taking labor and you're turning us into more slaves. That's what I don't agree on. And I don't think it's right, and it needs to be fixed. Because God knows there's these ladies, and I agree. I've seen the videos. They're buying garbage for their kids. But if you're homeless and you have no way to cook a meal, then you should, by all means, be allowed to buy a hot meal in the grocery store. They say you can. They're like, but you got to go up to the register at where you get the hot food. It's like, well, okay, 90% of the time they're closed. So how am I supposed to use my card there if I can't use my card there because the register's closed? Hello? Anybody? Like Arizona, where I came from, right before I left, there was 2 places when I was homeless I could use my food card. It was called the Hot Meal Program and the Food Program, the Meal Program, MP. Anyway, you can get a hot meal through like it was at the time there was only 2 that I knew of last time. It was Carl's Jr. and Subway. Well, there's only 2 Carl's Jr.'s in the Tri-City area and 2 Subways, and of course both were in Walmart. And nothing like getting a $20 sandwich and a 50-cent bag of chips for $3, and it takes that much money off your goddamn food card. That's crazy. But like at least at Carl's Jr., you can go through, you get the receipt, you call, do their little survey, and then you go back, which is what I did. I used the shit out of this. I'd go back and I used the buy one chicken club sandwich, and then I'd get 2 of them, and then I use that receipt to get the other chicken club sandwich for free. So I'd be stacking all my shit. Then I also be using their coupons too. So I was making a good deal, and they were making a lot of money off me, and all was good. But when I went to leave, they had all these new places, Del Taco, Papa John's, all these other places started taking the EBT too. And I'm like, okay, well, one, those shouldn't be allowed to unless you're homeless. And you couldn't get on the program unless you were homeless. See, that's the key word, homeless. Because if you're at home and you have a home, then you can go home and you can cook a meal. You can go buy all the food and ingredients and everything, and you could actually put it in a pot and you can cook a fucking meal. Living in my car, I can't make a baked turkey. I can't get fried chicken. I can make a cold sandwich. I can make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I can open up a can of soup and eat it cold, unless it's summertime, but then I'm eating hot soup on a hot day because it's hot. But yeah, it's just out here, they don't allow it. So you can't get any kind of food. You get in the market. Now they made it to where you can't get any, what do you call that? Sugar foods, and if you're diabetic, depending on which way you go with that, you might need that sugar food. I've seen people go in there and buy just a candy bar because their blood sugar was so low, they had no other means. And all the other ones, it was like, well, you could do that with regular food. Yeah, but you need it now. You don't have time for your body to process it because maybe you forgot to eat or something. You're having a physical emergency in your body. You need the sugar in there now. So as soon as it hits your stomach, that sugar needs to be able to be pumping, and then you'll feel good after a few minutes. But, they don't allot for that crap, so, you're putting people in danger of that. And to be sure, if you're diabetic, you should be able to buy, a certain amounts of food, say, like, okay, you can get up to $50 a month because you're diabetic in sugar foods. Okay, there's always a way. Don't tell me there isn't a way. There's always a way to program the machines to allow it. Okay? It's just like, if you could tell the machine, I can't buy it, then there's a way you can tell the machine, I can buy it. Okay? There's no other way. There's no, only one way or one or the other. It's, if you could tell a machine no, to tell me no, you could also have the machine to tell me yes. See what I'm saying? Even if you just allowed it. Okay? You just got to say, hey, look, we're going to allow you to buy this bad food, the sugary foods, the snacky foods because you're diabetic. But we will audit you once in a while, and, don't be going in there and buying, you get $300 and go and buy $200 worth of sugary foods and $20 in salad. You can't do that. It's got to be, it's got to be reasonable, and most people will be like, oh, no, cool. It's just a case, I all of a sudden I need to go grab a Baby Ruth because I need that sugar rush or sugar daddy, whatever the hell you want to call it, and, help people that way. But using people's labor as slaves is wrong in itself. Okay? If you're going to have me work for my EBT card, which I'm fully in agreement with, then you need to pay me fairly. Okay? Because now I have a job if I get a job, and even if it's part-time, I got to at least work 20 hours a week, right? So what if they only schedule me 17? Do I have to go donate the 3 hours somewhere else? That's a bunch of shit. It's like, wait a minute. Well, then count in my drive time and my shower time, you know what I'm saying? That 20 hours is actually 26 to 30 hours because I got to drive there. I got to shower. I got to get dressed. Got to wash my clothes. I got to do all that shit. Got to get dressed. Got to get undressed. You know, that all should come into play. And it's like 20 hours if you're working, you know, like 15, something like that. Because most jobs will at least give you that. But it's like, no, I need a job. I need a minimum of 20 hours a week. You know, and it's like, that's part-time. Yeah, that's fine. You know, it's like, I just want my food stamps, but then you're going to get that you're going to pay that hourly wage. Hopefully it's a lot more than minimum. So do take that in consideration. But that's my beef for that. What do you guys think? Comment down below. Always as usual, like, subscribe, you pantyhosers. Hit the bell to listen to more of my bullshit, because I know some of you agree out there. I'm just looking for my group, my posse, my pals. I'm looking for my pals. I know you're out there somewhere, guys. This is regulators. You guys got to be out there somewhere, because as many guys as everybody talks about how you love that movie, you guys are out there. You think just like me. So you just think about it. It's we have a lot of things to fix in this country, but by just going straight to the noose, if you will, the guillotine is not the answer. It's not the answer. And you need to, all right, it needs to be overhauled, so let's fix it now. I agree with the Section 8. You shouldn't be on that shit for even 3 years in your lifetime, but, you know, you do 3 years on the Section 8. I don't know how Section 8 works, but from my understanding on it is the landlord lets you do the Section 8 because he's guaranteed his money through the government, and then you have to pay like $50 to $100 a month out of your pocket, and then the rest of it's covered by Section 8. That's crazy. But, you know, it is what it is. But yet I have to be a slave laborer to get food. See that? That don't make no sense. It's like, well, I mean, no wonder people stay under the Section 8. I mean, think about it. You got 4 or 5 kids, and you can make $50 on the side babysitting somebody else's kids. There's your rent. You know? They were going to play together anyway. Might as well get paid for it, you know? And that's what they're doing. And then on top of that, then they're raking in, you know, $300 to $4,500 a month in food stamps. What kind of shit is that? And then they just keep having kids. That it's like, I got 7 kids. No, you got a leg problem. You need to stitch them things closed. You need to get a welder and have them weld that shit shut. I mean, damn, you need to be gutted, neutered. You need to get your ass neutered, which it is. It's like, if you can't afford the kids and you get food stamps, anything over, let's go 2.5 kids, you don't get any more. You got to make do with what you got. Because think about it, $600 per family, and then there's like, it's additional, I think, $400 per kid thereafter. That's crazy. So you got 4 kids, that's $1,600 plus your $300-400 on top of it. That's $2,000 a month. What the fuck are you eating? You're eating shit. That's why. And now everybody's all pissed off because they can't buy their Doritos and sugary crap. Well, you should have never been able to. Man, the first time I saw that, I was like, what? Wait, I can buy that? I was like, yeah. I'm like, that's crazy. It was Monster drinks. And went to the store with another couple who also had EBT. And he bought like a case of Monsters. I didn't think anything about it. And then I looked down and she's like, oh, okay. She gave me the receipt. I said, how much does Monsters cost? He goes, nothing. I'm like, what? He goes, no, it's on the EBT takes EBT. And I'm like, what? And that was like 20 years ago. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, you can buy anything pretty much except for cigarettes or alcohol. And I'm like, what? I'm like, or hot food. That just never made no sense to me. It's food. It's like, you're going to take it, you're going to cook it, then you're going to put it in the refrigerator at $2 less, and then I can buy it because it's cold. Thanks, day old food. And I'm like, why can't I buy the damn chicken? And it's like, Costco didn't take it, but Sam's Club did. And I love that when we had it in our area. I mean, that was, whew. We had that $600 to $800, depending on whatever the hell they changed their mind on, gave us that month. And we would just go to Sam's Club, and we would definitely drop at least half of it there. $300, $400, $500. But we would be stocked. I mean, to the hilt. I mean, and it was there were some bad things in there. Donuts, shit like that. Don't kid yourself. But there was a lot of good stuff in there. She did buy, sacks of fruits and vegetables, and we got like a shitload of steaks. What do you call it? Those pork things. What the hell are those? Not grinds. Pork roasts. The great big ones are like 3 feet long, and we just cut them in section. I bag them, suck the air out, because that was my job. Prepping the food, put it in the freezer, date it and everything, and then all she had to do was pull it out and be done. And it was a team effort, man. It was a team effort. I don't care. Don't call me no pansy. I was in the kitchen. I like cooking anyway, so screw you. And it was fun, but at the same time, we knew how to shop. And my wife was cheap, man. But the thing was, that was the thing. That saved me, oh man, thousands of dollars. Well, she was allowed to get her sodas. And that woman drank about a case a week. It's diet. We would go, at least she'd buy them when they were on sale, but she would always allot it. She would always make sure, no matter where there was anything, she would always make sure she had her sodas. That was impressive, though, because she would be like, oh, well, cases, what is it? It was usually like 4 for $12 back in the day, or 5 for $15, 5 for $10. Sometimes they'd have a big special, 5 for $10. So that was always, well, a black guy. Don't see that often out here in the middle of nowhere. In the white neighborhoods, there's a black guy. But he's on the phone, so he's good. It was crazy because she'd always make sure, but we'd take that, and then we'd say, okay, now how much is left? $300. So it's $150 every 2 weeks that we have left to buy the staples, because we had the big staples that filled our pantry, and then we could go to, it was just a big shopping weekend every time we got paid. And we'd go like the fries, and they'd have that 5 for $5. Oh man, we'd get so many dollar boxes of stuff, from scalloped potatoes to hamburger helper used to be like $1.25, 5 for $5. They'd have those specials. We'd stock up on everything, and our pantry was always so overflowed that my garage, where I had all the shelving, I had to literally empty one out and make it into a spare pantry. That's how much we had. But we always had food. And I try to make sure that, hey, keep the dry goods in the house and give me the bottle stuff, the stuff that could be in a container. So if it fell or something like that, we don't have to worry about it. It's easy to clean up. It's a garage. But it would be safe, because we have to worry about, critters getting in it, because they can't chew through glass. So, probably a rat could eat through a aluminum cap, but he ain't going to eat through the glass. He could, but he won't. It's crazy shit like that. But, put down your comments down below. When you got food stamps, what'd you get? What do you think about this 80 hours a month, this 20 hours a week, and you don't even get minimum wage for it? It's crazy shit. I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts on it? Put it down below. Like, subscribe, hit the goddamn bell. Bing! Definitely, we appreciate any donations to our pantry. We also pay it forward. Let us know. What are your thoughts? Is there something you want to cover on this that you would like me to cover on it? Let me know. I will do some of the information searching and stuff like that. But again, it's like my $2.97 a month. If I put that 80 hours in, it's $2.75 an hour. Is that not slave labor? How's that not legal? Oh, because I'm donating, I'm volunteering my time, thus cost them nothing. And so I'm basically, oh, what do they call that in the job? You're doing it for free. That's crazy. But tell me what you guys think. Like, subscribe below, hit the bell, hit our donation pantry. I'd appreciate it. You guys have a good afternoon. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.